What's up, you guys? Welcome back to my channel. I'm so excited that you're here and honored that you would spend a few minutes of your time to come and hang out with me and sit at this table. Today's video is going to be a really good one and kind of something that I've wanted to try. Let me take that back. I've done this technique before called underpainting, and I really liked it, but for whatever reason, I always go back to the traditional way that I'm used to, which is primer, foundation, contour, highlight, and then layer. But today I thought it would be fun to do underpainting and kind of explain the technique to my knowledge of what underpainting is and how it works and why people love it, because this trend of underpainting is really catching on. A lot of people are starting to do this. It feels like you're using less products. Your face doesn't feel as heavy, but you still get a really beautiful result with your makeup. So I thought today we would sit down, hang out, do a full face of makeup, but do an underpainting technique. And maybe you can grab your makeup brushes and come alongside me and do it with me. So that is today's video. We're going to slap on a full face of makeup. So let's get ready together. Before you do that, don't forget to subscribe, hit that like button. That really helps me out and lets me know that you guys are enjoying this content. And with that, let's get into the video. All right, so before we get into it, let me just kind of give you the brief explanation as to what underpainting is and why people like it. I think first and foremost, the main reason why people like it is because I think you're using less products, right? You're not slapping on a whole face of foundation and then layering with concealer, layering with contour, layering with all of the things. You're kind of using less products, but you're using them in a very strategic way. So it's a combination of light and dark, right? So when you think of a light concealer, what you're doing is you are emphasizing and having that area of your face stand out. So usually we will highlight underneath our eyes. That will do a lot of concealing and hiding dark spots, but it is also having those areas stand out. You'll see me put concealer down my forehead. When you look at my face right now with no makeup on, you can kind of see where the light is bouncing off my face, and you can see which areas are being hidden by shadows. So looking dead on, you can see some light is happening right here, but you can see that there is natural shadow right on the perimeter of my forehead. You can see that the light right now is bouncing right underneath my eyes, down the middle of my nose. This is where the natural light of your face is going to bounce off. You can see that there is natural shadow right here. So what we're doing with makeup is we are just enhancing those areas where the light naturally bounces off and where the shadows usually kind of hide and conceal and bring more depth to our face. So it is the beautiful combination and marriage of light and dark with makeup that is going to have your face stand out a little bit. So I have my products here. Underpainting is using cream products. So I usually use concealer for all of those things, whether it is concealing underneath my eyes, whether it is using contour, I use concealer anyways. So we're going to do that with the products that I have. So we're going to go into concealer first. I have my favorite concealers, which is the NYX Can't Stop Won't Stop concealers. One is lighter than the other. So we're going to go into the lightest one for underneath our eyes. So we're just going to place our products like we would normally do it, but we're just going to layer the under parts first as opposed to putting them on top of our foundation. So I've already primed my skin. So we're going right in the corners of our eyes. And then I like to bring my concealer up here. And the reason why lighter concealer has everything standing out more. So if I'm placing my concealer here, it is naturally going to have your eye look upward. It's kind of a trick of the eye. It's going to make your face look more lifted, more elongated. So just think of that. When you put a lighter product, it's going to have that area stand out. So I want my face to stand out, but I want it to also look lifted. So that's what you would do. I'm going to go in with an even lighter concealer just on top of that, because I feel like it just needs to be a little bit lighter. You can skip this part, but I'm just going over top. So now I'm going to go on the high points. You can already see the light is bouncing off my forehead. So I'm just going to emphasize that area right there. You can see that the natural light is bouncing down the bridge of my nose. So that's where I'm going to place the light concealer. You can see that there is some lightness right in the Cupid's bow in the middle of my chin. I also like doing a technique with my concealer that gives me an even more of a lifted look, which is adding a little streak of concealer up my smile line. This is also going to give me a more lifted look. So now we're going to go ahead and blend. You can use a brush or a sponge. I'm going to go in with my sponge and start blending out all of those areas, really trying to keep it in its place and not buffing it out or spreading it out too far. So just blend all of that in. Let's go into contour now. So technically when you do contour, naturally is going to emphasize those shadows, but the color in which you usually use a contour is more of a cool tone. Personally, on my skin tone, don't love using that. I don't know, it makes me, I haven't found one that actually looks great on me. It makes me look washed out and gray. So I just have been contouring with a more warm tone concealer. So I have two products that I use, drugstore and high-end. This contour stick is from Wet n Wild. I do like this. I think it blends beautifully. This concealer is the Too Faced Born This Way concealer in the shade Chai. This is definitely a warm tone. You don't have to use two. If you just want to use one, just use one. But the whole purpose of this underpainting is to strategically place the products where the light and the dark is going to enhance those shadows and those peak areas where the light is bouncing off. So I'm going to go into this first on the perimeter of my face, right here. And right in this area, right above there. So I'm just going to start drawing that on. We're going to go down the bridge of our nose. I'm going to also go down a little bit down my jaw, underneath my lip. And now we're gonna blend. I like using smaller brushes when underpainting because this is gonna help the product stay in the place that we want it to stay and not buff all over the place. Okay, so now that we have that depth, we have the light, we have the dark, let's add some life into our face again by going in with a blush and a bronzer, all cream products that I'm gonna use. I'm gonna go in with my bronzer. This is a warm tone bronzer. This is going to add a little bit of life to my face again. With this now, everything has been strategically placed. We only added that depth on the contour. We added that light in the center of our face mostly. Most of our face now is still pretty bare, where we're gonna add a wash of foundation at the very end to blend everything together. First, we're gonna go in with a warm tone bronzer. And what I do with this is I just take a tiny little bit. This is a very full coverage concealer. So to add warmth, I'm gonna just go over top where we added that contour, and I'm really just stamping on a couple of dots of this. And I'm not adding too much. That is it. You can barely see it, but now we're gonna buff all of this out. Again, using the same brush, we're just going to stamp, and you can already see now some life because of that warm tone. It's adding a little bit more life to my face. I really do like this technique. I don't always think to do this because I'm a creature of habit, and I usually just slap on, you know, the full foundation first, then go over top. But I really do like this because even with this, I feel like I can leave the house, don't feel like I have much makeup on my face at all. And this just feels really, really nice. So can you see now that we've added warmth to our face? We have definition, everything is still in its place, but now we have some warmth. Now we're gonna go in with our cream blush or our liquid blush. I'm gonna go in with a liquid blush. Going into my Profusion Blush Balm in the shade Mai Tai. And I am just going to place this on the high points of my cheeks, and again, blending it outwards. I like to take a little bit of this in the middle of my forehead and a little bit on my chin, and now we can blend. Okay, so now we have successfully underpainted our face. I sound like a broken record, but again, underpainting is highlighting the high points of our face. Everything we want to stand out is what we go in with a lighter concealer. Everything that we want to kind of chisel in and define and bring contrast to is with bronzer, which is what I used down my cheekbone, the perimeter of my face, under my lip is where we are wanting things to kind of be a little bit more hidden, a little bit more defined. And then going in with the more warm tone bronzer brings life back to my face. And again, having that blush just brings more life. We've successfully underpainted at this point. Now what we're gonna do is give ourselves a balance. So what that's gonna do is we're gonna go lastly with our foundation. Now you're thinking, but we just put all of that product in, isn't the foundation going to cover everything up? What it's gonna do is it's going to give us an even wash of color, but all of this underpaint is going to still be poking through. It's going to give you a very natural look to your face. Again, we're not really going in with a ton of foundation. We're going in with just a little bit to kind of balance everything out and blend all those harsh lines, okay? So what I like to do, I go in with a tiny bit of a very natural foundation. I don't really go in with a full coverage foundation since we've already kind of added product to our face. We just kind of want to blend everything together. So I use a sponge for this and I start from the top and I'm just lightly patting in that color, and you can still see very subtly where we added the contour. It's covering it, but it's not hiding it. That's it, you guys. Okay, so let's assess now. I can still see where I have my contour on the perimeter of my head. I still see that blush poking through. I can still see my contour. It is still there, but it's more diffused and it's now just peeking through the light coat of foundation. I can still see everything that is highlighted. My under eyes look great. I have way less product on my face as opposed to how I normally do it, where I put a full base of foundation, a good coat of concealer, a good coat of bronzer and contour. This is way less product, but you still get a very natural, beautiful look, which is enhanced. At this point now, all we have to do is set with powder. So let's do that. I'm gonna set my under eyes. So what I usually do with my under eyes, you guys have heard me explain this multiple times. I like to get the creases out of my eyes and flick out with the point of my sponge any extra product, and then immediately go in with my triangle poof. This is key to seamless under eyes. And now just set the under eyes. I'm gonna set the top as well for when we go in with eyeshadow, and then we can brush off the excess. And then I will go in with another powder. This is the Wet n Wild Bare Focus Clarifying Finishing Powder on my Real Techniques brush. Then I will kind of just add that to my under eyes. This powder is so beautiful, you guys. It really makes your under eyes look like velvet. It is such a beautiful powder. At this point now is where you're really gonna just emphasize anything with powder that you wanna emphasize. So if I wanna add a little bit more warmth to my face, I'm gonna go in with a bronzer powder and just bring, again, a little bit more warmth to my face. And then a light blush over top. And that is it, you guys. This is the method and technique of underpainting. All you have to do now at this point is do your eyebrows, do your eyeshadow, and you already have a beautiful base. It feels very natural. I don't feel like I have barely any product on my face. This just feels really wearable. It's natural, and I really do enjoy this method. I have to remember to do this more often. I am gonna finish up the rest of my face. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know in the comments, are you team slap on a full face of makeup first, or do you usually underpaint? I'm really curious to know what your thoughts are. If you're gonna try this, let me know how it goes for you. And that is that, you guys. I hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to subscribe and comment if you are into this thing and you wanna hang out with us weekly. Turn your notifications on. That will remind you when I do upload a video so you don't miss anything. God bless you guys. I hope you have an amazing day wherever you are, whatever you're doing, and I can't wait to see you in my next video.